This show is clean.
Tissue paper.
Pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 763. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today, Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus the return of the much-loved feature, WOW SCHATZ WOW, where we look at some interesting recent news that you probably didn't catch on the commercial-laden TV and radio morning shows. Oh, and
Mike's Daily Podcast.
we'll look at the health effects of leaving your religion. Amen.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
REM. And yeah, so it's been a couple days. I've been busy with things, and my name is Rupert Hayes. Wait, didn't he sing that song called If You Like Pina Coladas? And I am not known for doing the lambada, but if I was, I would do the lambada every second.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because dancing is what makes life enjoyable. Even when you can't dance anymore and you're upset and you're
Mike's
cursing the people
Daily
on your front lawn,
Podcast.
you still have wonderful legs.
Yeah.
Because of all those years you danced. And last show, Disgruntled Fiddle Player told us about the days he used to play at farmers markets and about the groupies he used to have. Look who just walked in.
Hello, Madam Rootabega. This is Madame Rootabega. And even I know that the singer of Pina Coladas, the song called Escape, the Pina Colada song, it's Rupert Holmes. Ooh.
Oh, Rupert Holmes. Ah, right. Sorry, Rupert. Then who the hell is Rupert Hayes? I don't want to know. I may have gleaned it off a website that I shouldn't have been looking at. You know, I think that there's a lot to be said about what happens when we're nice. I'm a nice guy. I do a lot of nice things for people. But I get called out by my friends for being too nice. This particularly has to do with the women that I've dated in my life. And apparently, to my friends, I have been too nice to them. Or like yesterday, the guy that was supposed to come on after me, the guy at my job, at my work, he was an hour late. So I went ahead. I got paid for the extra hour I worked. But, you know, I stuck around. And it kind of threw some of the plans that I had for the evening into disarray. But I said, what the heck, I'll just wait. I'm getting paid for this anyway, waiting this extra hour. And therefore, I did it. And my friend said, you're too nice. Which is a real bull thing to say. Because when you say that people that are nice and you tell them that they're too nice, they then become less nice. And that's more niceness that is taken out of this world. So sad. Am I right? Oh, I really don't need your approval. Anyway, that's what I noticed. So I was nice. The guy, he really couldn't make it. Although he's been late in the past. He doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can talk as much shit as possible about him. And I'll talk about the guy that told me I'm too nice either. Because this is my podcast, dang it. So yeah, the guy that was late, he's been late many, many times. Not for me, but for other people. Usually I don't work after him, but he has been late so many times, and it's just, he's got to get that under control. And if I was working after him more often, I'd probably have lectured him, written a note to the boss. But I have been there. I've been there in situations where you just, for some reason or another, you just can't be there on time, and it's nice to have someone on the other end that's understanding. Even though he's taking advantage of everyone at work. All right, next time he's late, I won't be nice anymore. And as to my friend that calls me too nice, that guy is way too nice that says that. He needs to check himself. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more of an or as the Germans say, Arschloch. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't let anybody get away with anything. Nobody can pull the wool over our eyes. We keep an eye on it. We don't let nobody take advantage of us.
Yeah, if you take advantage of us, we're gonna break your pencil. Do you know that?
Do you mean like the pencil that you write with in class and take Scantron tests with?
The very one! Do you know that?
All right, well, that's great that you guys do that. But you guys are not considered overall nice guys. So people just, they know not to mess with you. But I am a nice guy, and that's just how I am, and I just really don't I just.
Michael Masso, if you are good looking and young, if you are nice to people, you would be like on the television, on the Today Show. Ooh.
That's true, yes. The younger you are and the hotter you are, whenever you do any nice thing, no matter what it is, even if it's completely insignificant, you get put on television. And then they do a YouTube video of you and you become a meme, and then the whole world finds out about you, and that's how it works. But the older you are and more withered and decayed like I am, it's just expected that you should do nice things. So that's the way it is. I'm Walter Cronkite.
Michael, I knew Walter Cronkite. He was a very nice guy. I liked his mustache. Ooh.
Well, this doesn't have to do with mustaches, but it has to do with religion. And religion teaches us to be nice. And leaving religion, apparently, is not good for our healths. The most mainstream research on this is a 2010 study out of Pennsylvania State University, which examined data from 1972 to 2006. It showed that 20% of people who left religion reported being in excellent health versus 40% of people that were part of a strict religious group, such as the Jehovah's Witnesses or Latter-day Saints, and 25% of people who switched from a strict religion to a more lenient religion, strict being high-cost sectarian groups that are theologically and culturally exclusive, according to this study, and according to theatlantic.com. There are some studies comparing the health of religious and non-religious people. A study from Gallup showed that non-religious people are more likely to smoke and less likely to eat healthy and exercise than people that are religious. A 2004 study published in the American Journal of Psychiatry showed that religiously unaffiliated depressed inpatients are more likely to display suicidal behaviors than religiously affiliated patients. And a 2011 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that people in economically developed societies tend to have similar levels of subjective well-being regardless of religious affiliation. But studies rarely seem to single out people who have left religion. Even the Penn State study didn't clarify how recently people had deconverted. However, Dr. Marlene Winnell, a psychologist from California and the author of Leaving the Fold, compares leaving religion to post-traumatic stress disorder. She even created a term for it, religious trauma syndrome, or RTS, which she defines in an article for the British Association for Behavioral and Cognitive Psychotherapies. She says it's, quote, struggling with leaving an authoritarian, dogmatic religion and coping with the damage of indoctrination. Not every deconvert goes through RTS, but she writes that, like post-traumatic stress disorder, the impact of RTS is long-lasting and intrusive thoughts, negative emotional states, impaired social functioning, and other problems are similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. RTS is not recognized by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, though, and some critics say it is just post-traumatic stress disorder applied to religion. There are actually monthly support groups like Recovering from Religion across the world, and they are offering a phone hotline for those struggling with deconversion. Journey Free, an organization based in the San Francisco Bay Area, offers an online support group for deconverts and weekend retreats where small groups come together to help and support each other. There are even groups that are essentially atheist churches where deconverts can go to find weekly community in a non-religious context. What do you think of all this? And what do you think about being nice? And how when you're being nice, people say to you, you're like too nice. And you're like, well, then you're too judgmental. What do you think about all of this? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And check out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, where we have links to where to listen to this show in iTunes. Subscribe to the show in iTunes. You can also comment on the show and rate the show in iTunes, and that helps us out, helps our ranking so more people find out about us. And also, you can help us out through going to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/MikeTalks, which I guess is what I am doing right now. That would be the activity I'm doing. And if you like the show, when I post a new show, share that with your friends, and more people will find out about the show that way. It's great that that is available to do that. Okay. Then there's also the link to the Amazon deal of the day. Click on that link there at mikesdailypodcast.com and buy something at a great discount. That helps us out too. And bookmark that page for when you buy anything through Amazon, and that helps us out. There's also links to where to find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Yelp, Tumblr, Twitter, all there at mikesdailypodcast.com, as well as all the past interviews and the blog and the daily podcast picture.
Wow, Schatz, wow.
So there's all over the place. There are these things called newspapers. Still, even in our internet age. And I have this thing where if there's a free newspaper in one of those little, you know, if you walk into a coffee house and there's free newspapers there, sometimes there's ones on the street in the little boxes. I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab one of these. And I grab one and I look through them and I find fascinating facts. And I call this segment Wow Schatz Wow because that's what my mom says when I tell her something that surprises her. She goes, Wow Schatz Wow, because she's German. And she calls me Schatz. But these are things that I have found from the aforementioned free newspapers. Some stories that I have pulled for you here in this version of Wow Schatz Wow. And we are talking about food and travel is the topic. Rain. Gray water. Gray water makes good common sense, and using also rainwater too. It can help a household cut its water use by nearly half. A family of 4, for example, can trim the typical 38,000 gallons of water it uses each year by 15,000. Just as recycling plastics and paper diverts them from the landfill, gray water systems prevent perfectly good water from washing machines and bathroom sinks, tubs and showers from being discarded into sewers, and overloading energy-intensive treatment plants. This according to Edible Monterey Bay. Instead, they direct the water straight to gardens and landscaping. The systems also require few upfront costs and few or no permitting hurdles, and since we humans can generally be counted upon to bathe and wash our clothes, it's a reliable year-round supply of water for the garden. For decades, even as they embraced other forms of recycling, most people have ignored the gray water option. Gray water is never, ever toilet water. That's black water, which also includes water from kitchen sinks and dishwashers, and also is a Clinton conspiracy, and must be sent to sewers or septic tanks. There have also been concerns about potential pathogens in gray water itself, although these can be safely remediated in the soil. In fact, in 2009, researchers scoured public health records looking for evidence of gray water-related disease outbreaks and found none. Now, formerly averse health inspectors say gray water is safe if guidelines are followed, and some water agencies often offer rebates for installations. It's a policy change with a big impact. Although gray water installations can be innovative and high-tech, most homeowners opt for so-called simple systems. There are two types of these. Laundry to landscape systems send wash water only to the garden, They don't require a permit and are easy to install for handy DIYers they need spend only $200 to $250 for materials. To have a contractor do the installation, the average cost is $750 to $2,000.